Claus and Big Claus. In a small village, there were two farmers with the same name, Claus, to tell them apart. Folks called one Big Claus and the other Little Claus. Now, Big Claus had 4 horses and was very greedy, while Little Claus had just 1 horse but a clever mind. Every Sunday, Little Claus borrowed Big Claus's horses to plow his field, calling out, "Giddy up, all my horses." Big Claus couldn't stand hearing that he hated sharing credit for his horses. One day, he stormed over to Little Claus and shouted, "If you call them your horses again, I'll smash your one and only horse." "Right you are," replied Little Claus. But as soon as Big Claus was gone, he muttered, "Giddy up, all my horses." Big Claus heard, and true to his word, he stormed back and struck Little Claus's horse dead. Poor Little Claus had no horse and no money, but he had his wits. He skinned the dead horse, tossed the hide over his shoulder, and set off for the village to sell it. Night fell, and he stopped at a farmer's house, asking for a place to sleep. The farmer's wife said he could stay in the stable, but Little Claus overheard her chatting with the parson in the kitchen. "My husband mustn't know you're here," she whispered to the parson. When the farmer suddenly arrived, the wife shoved the parson into a chest. Little Claus, spying an opportunity, started shouting, "Oh, my horse hide speaks." The farmer's wife gave him a heap of money to keep his mouth shut. Little Claus took the coins, chuckling, and went on his way. The next day, he sold the coins as magic hide for even more money. When Big Claus saw how rich Little Claus had become, he was furious. "Where did you get all that gold?" "My horse hide," said Little Claus. "It talks, and people pay for its wisdom." Big Claus rushed home, killed all his horses, and hauled their hides to market. He shouted, "Horse hides for sale. They speak and tell fortunes." But people just laughed, and Big Claus returned home with empty pockets. Determined to get his revenge, he stuffed Little Claus in a sack and headed for the river, planning to throw him in. On the way, Big Claus got tired and took a nap, leaving Little Claus tied up near a church. Along came a cattleman who heard Little Claus's muffled cries for help. "I'm not really Little Claus," he fibbed. "I'm just here guarding heaven for someone important." Eager to swap places, the cattleman traded his herd for the sack and crawled in himself. When Big Claus woke up, he didn't check the sack, he just chucked it into the river. Meanwhile, Little Claus, with his new herd, waved to Big Claus the next day. "You should see what I found down in the river," he shouted. Riches beyond belief. Big Claus, half believing, half envious, jumped into the river to find his own treasures. But of course, he didn't come up again. And from then on, Little Claus lived quite happily, with a herd of cattle, some sneaky cleverness, and not a shred of guilt over Big Claus's unfortunate fate. Thank you for reading the story with me. Please subscribe Olivia's Storybook Corner for more fantastic stories. Bye-bye.